All right.
All right, Jay Brian, I want to thank you for speaking at our Download conference. Our Download has been around since 2010. We've done way more than a dozen of these things, and it's an opportunity to learn and share with fellow professionals, and it's a special community of connection, and we love broadening that community. And I loved having you join us for the May 2022 Download. Can you do me a favor? In a nutshell, what did you share with us?
So when I spoke at the Download, amazing event, by the way, I talked about learner engagement in a virtual setting with everything going to everything else. Some companies were doing virtual already, but when pandemic hit, everyone pretty much had to, at least for a certain time, switch over to virtual. So get using the same tools, learner engagement tools in person, all of them don't necessarily translate to the virtual setting. Or if they do, some of them need tweaking. So that's what I spoke about, learner engagement in a virtual setting.
Fantastic. Okay, so in learning and development, a lot of us understand what engagement is, or we think we do. Outside of that, how would you describe learner engagement to like my parents?
Learner engagement is paying attention to what you're learning and enjoying it.
How do you measure that? Or how do you
Hey,
know when you've got it?
so the interesting thing about learner engagement is that it's not always measurable right then. Oftentimes, you won't see the ROI on that, because I know we were just talking about numbers. You won't see the numbers on that until you see the learner's performance immediately after your training. Was there an improvement after they completed your training? Learner engagement is just a major part of it. Did they receive the training well? Did they learn what they need to learn? And then when they go apply it, those increases in those numbers, whatever those KPIs are, that's going to be the biggest indicator if learning engagement was successful. And then it's best even if you can compare, if you have comparable numbers as well. They were performing like this before they went to your training or your talk. And now when we check back with them, there's a 10% increase in this KPI or that KPI.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so I know that this is a talk that you can do in other settings, like, I don't know, ATD chapters or other, like what kinds of settings do you do this talk in?
This talk can literally be done well, it can be done in any format. It can be done virtually or it can be done in person. But it can be done at ATD meetings. It can be done at ATD conferences. It can be done at any learning and development conference. It can be done at learning and development team meetings. It can be a lunch and learn. Be a lunch and learn. It can be done pretty much anywhere where there will be people who help others learn and develop. So you're talking teachers, you're talking corporate trainers a lot of times. So it can be done in all kinds of different settings.
So really, really flexible. Okay, so given that, I don't want you to give away all of the techniques.
Yes.
Right? But what's one that's just really easy to take away? This could be our last question here.
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing about the virtual setting, before the pandemic, before we all transitioned to virtual, if you wanted to set up your classroom or your room that you're teaching in, you could walk in the day of, even the morning of, and you could set up your board and it's just sitting there, right? Your board is just there, not moving. You could take your markers or whatever slide projector or whatever you're going to use, set it up, and you know that in 20 minutes, 30 minutes when the class starts, it'll still be there, right? That's not the case when it comes to the virtual setting. Because I mean, Megan's laughing. It's not necessarily the case. It can be working perfectly now, and in 10 minutes, completely shut down. It can completely shut down, even though you prepared appropriately. So one of the things you want to do is you want to prepare. I call it preparing for battle. And I don't mean a battle with a person or your learners. I mean battle with the technology. Preparing for battle means before you even have the class, that means you get on whatever platform that you're going to be using. whether that be Zoom, WebEx. I mean, there are several, but whatever platform you're going to be using, play around with it, work with it, see what happens, see if you can break it, see if you can break it. So that when an issue does occur, at least you might have already seen it and know how to handle that technology issue. Because when it is time to actually teach the class and engage them, you want to make sure and have all of those technology ducks in a row, as many as you can.
I like that. That is like life lessons. Jay, thank you so much. Thank you for this little mini interview. Thank you for joining us at the download. And where can people find you? Actually, if they're watching this video, they're probably they've already found you.
Yes, absolutely. But you can reach me at info@jbryanspeaks.com. Again, that's info@jbryanspeaks. That's JayBryanspeaks.com. Or you could go to www.jbryanspeaks.com. That is my website.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Megan.